Alright, hey. Yeah, I'm here. I don't know how this is gonna be working. Sorry if my mic is extra loud. I've shifted my monitors over to the right just a bit. Nothing crazy. But the side effect is it's picking up more ambient noise, even though it's barely moved. So I had to tweak the NVIDIA sound removal stuff to make it a little bit more quiet. Um, so it doesn't pick up as much background noise, hopefully. But I don't know how that's picking up my voice. It looks like it's fine. All my levels look smooth and all, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's see how far I get. We're on to episode 4. It's also about to start storming here. What's interesting is if you remember, maybe when I was playing last night, I kept saying I was waiting for it to start raining, because they said it was going to rain sometime today. Now, I went to sleep late. I went to sleep at like 3 in the morning. I woke up at like 10, 11, something like that. And it was ridiculously hot in my room. And it felt like really humid outside too. But when I left the house earlier, what's strange is that the... Here, let me go to... What is it? Is it control 1? Control 1, there we go. What's interesting is the street completely dry. However, when I started driving, you would drive past certain spots and there would be like 3 cars parked on the side of the road. Outside 2 cars, totally fine, completely dry. Car in the middle, soaked. And then like you start looking at the shadows, and all the shadows, it looked like maybe it had rained earlier and it dried, but it just dried weird. Because all the shadowy areas that are like overcast from trees and stuff, like shade from trees, still soaked. Everything else is completely dry, like no sign of moisture whatsoever. So that's a new one for me. Anyway, let's go ahead and go. I'm gonna switch back to this view. Bam. My mic's gonna be on and off, I'm sure, because reasons. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I sit here in this chair and I'm like, I want to lean back and just enjoy this game. And I'm using a stick mic, so I have to like sit up a little bit to talk into it, so it's all clear. And I can't really sit back and enjoy the game if I'm sitting up and doing that. So yeah. Anyway, let's go.
Previously on Alan Wake, I'm hunted by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously
Kevin
telling me
James. That dude
Ryder
reminds me of
just
Kevin
took out my
James. Like, what's his
deputy?
The
name?
thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is.
Her purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me.
Alan, shh, baby. It was just a nightmare.
Alice. Hartman, I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period.
What?
Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been
Maybe I can make this
for a
work.
while.
We'll see.
The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No, you're lying.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated...
End up with one of those what do they call them, like lav mics or whatever, the ones that people clip on.
It's okay, Alan.
I got a headset. I just don't use the headset much because a lot of times I'm using my glasses when I'm playing a game. I'm trying to not use them as much if I'm sitting here at the desk because I don't really need them. But when I use my glasses and a headset for a long time, like after a while, like my ear starts to hurt. And it's also kind of annoying when
Groggy.
you are playing something and somebody
Making me numb.
pops in the room or calls you and you're like, how do I do all of these things at once?
Television. I couldn't think.
Hey, what's up?
Couldn't focus.
Yes, I have to wait for
The door was locked.
the man.
I was a prisoner here.
This is hazy, like this is a dream. I'm still drugged. Doesn't look too bad for a game from this time period.
Better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah, I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message, loud and clear.
Quite right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten.
I guess the guy's supposed to be intimidating. I don't know.
Yes, it will do you good.
Oh, look, my vision cleared up.
This corridor is for patients. Most
He's
of them
got
are
such a
here
punchable
now.
face.
Jack took them out for a fishing trip, except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course. I encourage creativity as a part of the recovery process here at Cauldron Lake Lodge. I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together.
What are you unlocking?
This way, Alan.
What are you doing? I have to remind
Now,
myself.
Alan, from past
I have
experience,
PS3 ROMs
I know
and
I need
360
to
ROMs on this
get right into
computer.
the heart of the
I have
matter
Red Dead
as
Redemption
quickly
1
as
on
I
this
can
computer.
after an episode.
I keep thinking
So
about that
I'm
game.
just going to
Yeah,
say
2.
this.
I remember
Alice is
just loving 1,
No.
and every time I play
you're
2,
in
I'm
a
like,
very
oh,
vulnerable state until you
it just feels
understand
too
and
important.
accept
It's
this.
too stressful, man.
Alice drowned.
I can't relax and
And
enjoy
you
the
can
game.
face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped, and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug
Look
he
at the
had given me,
texture here.
I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head.
On the whole, it
You've
looks
been making it up.
impressive, but it's like when you get close to this, like,
Tragic
this
accident
texture on this
with
brick
your
right here in the middle,
wife has been
it's
killed.
rough.
Your delusions are just a
But they're not all like that, so that makes me think that maybe it's not loaded in.
trying to protect you
I don't know.
from painful truth.
It's also like a 360 game, so I can't be too hard on it. I mean, I can do whatever the hell I want to do, but still.
Instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically.
One of the big moments in video games for me was playing games and doing this and just seeing like the way that people go up steps. Like seeing games in 3D was like huge. And then, you know, you get to the point where like people start like, you start obsessing over like, oh, people's skin is too smooth. And like now, this is again 360 and he's got like a 5 o'clock shadow, whatever the hell you want to call it on. Like his goatee's defined there, but the rest of the hair is a little bit rough. And this dude's not like symmetrical. If you look at like Final Fantasy VII characters, they all have like perfectly smooth skin, unless they have a scar. But then it was like hands, and then it was like people clipping, and then seeing how they would go up steps.
The lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way. Follow me. Alan, what I'm telling you is good news. Right now we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with.
You can see the
After
trees
all
blowing.
your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of the illness.
I let him talk.
There you go.
Hartman
I'm the one
obviously
trying
loved
to
his
bring
own
you
voice.
out of the
His
world
words
and
echoed
constructed
madly
yourself.
inside my head.
But I
I
can't
dug
do
my
it
nails
by
into the
myself.
palms of my hands to stay
You need to
focused.
work.
He's still talking.
Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery.
Sure, there's a thermos up there. They are, I believe, they have officially announced that they are making an Alan Wake 2, which is the first game in this trilogy that is a direct sequel. But they do a thing where they feature all the characters.
You were impressed by my trophies.
I guess they're kind of like actors, you know, like they feature them in other games.
The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Pretty damn wonderful, yeah.
Scary, scary, scary.
Emerson,
I'm a real bad dream, mister. You should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson,
Okay, okay. Sorry. Boo.
that's Emerson. We're actually making some progress with him, I'm happy to say. He works on video
Elbow
games.
strike.
It's
Hoo-yah.
trash, of course, but it does involve
get him
some
to the head.
small creative effort, which makes him receptive to my therapeutic methods.
No kidding.
Come, Alan, this way.
Dude looks like he's covered in baby oil. He looks like
They're in your room.
he'd be coming out there with like, I don't know, like some wrestler in the 80s.
Feel up to it, you should continue.
My rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm.
I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Tor. They had a, how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done. I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark.
Oh, that won't do. I'm so sorry to cut this short for now, Alan. The power has been acting up. I'd better go check on it. We'll continue this soon. Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return to your room and try to write. It really is for the best. Don't you think?
I'd like to bash his head in with a hammer.
Oh, he'd love to fish out our secrets, but he has no clue. He's not crazy enough. Not crazy like us, Sonny. Yeah! Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Say, you're all right, Tom. Hey, we like.
But he calls him, these guys call him Thomas Zane.
The Anderson Farm. Valhalla!
We wrote it all down, lest we forget. A crash course. All you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message.
Here, Sonny, here's something for you. Gave me a rash, but I kept it safe from these bastards.
My head was clear. What? Zane could feel the poems, taking form, shaping things. As he experimented, he imagined he could almost feel the power surging through the keys of the typewriter. It exhilarated him. But there was fear, too. If not for his young assistant, Emil, he would have given it up. But Emil convinced him otherwise. He, too, had a way with words.
Oh, Lord.
According to Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything.
Lava lamp? What is
Crazy
this?
or
It's not a
not,
lava lamp. What
the
hell is it?
Andersons made more sense.
Tom, got any booze on you?
Yeah, no.
We
Sorry,
have a
guys.
stash of the special stuff at the farm. Our own formula, local ingredients, medicine.
If I like looked outside and there was a storm coming, and I saw this dude like painting a picture like this, leave instantly.
Just notice leather patches on the elbows. That's not very rock and roll.
Tom just lost is all. Baba Yaga got to him too, the damn witch.
She used us all, taken from all of us. Took my thunder, the witch.
And my ravens, what were they? Memory and thought, the hag.
She took something from you too, didn't she? That's what she does.
We're better off. This place, the lake, it gives you power. If you're a creator, an artist, a god.
Bad dream, and you can't wake up.
Oh, hello. I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah?
He's very proud of me. He says I'm getting much better. I think I'm getting better. Well, I guess I'd better start wrapping this up. The storm is almost here. Look at that. I'd hate to be out there tonight.
I want more games with intense storms. Not enough games have intense storms unless it's a game that is designed for intense storms. Like if I play, I don't know, like the next they've got what's it called coming out, Starfield. But after Starfield, you know, whenever they do the next Elder Scrolls game or even a Fallout game, when it rains, I want the rain to not always be the exact same kind of rain. I want to have like a few like intense downpours. I want to play the game and feel stressed out by the weather.
I'm not myself. It's hard to think that there's a shadow inside my head. I can only focus on writing. Everything else is a blur. I'm trapped in this cabin. Have been for days, but it's always dark outside. My editor is real. I saw her again. She's not human. It's not human. A dark presence is wearing the old woman's face. She was covered in clinging shadows. There's a hole in her chest where her heart should be. I think I've made a horrible mistake. I don't think I'm any closer to saving Alice. It's been lying to me, using me to get the story it wants, and the story will come true.
When this game was out originally, you could potentially still come across TVs like this in places. I feel like there's been a few waiting rooms I've been in the last couple of years where like you'll see one TV like this, but it's always off because what are you doing? Like the thing about a TV like that is you have to get a special. I'm gonna walk over this in case anybody wants to scan it. You have to get a special what is it? Whatever you want to call it, like an antenna or whatever, in order to pick up the signals on that TV. And half the time nowadays they're widescreen anyway.
Hartman wanted me to write. I knew I couldn't, but I figured I should just play along for now. It was the only thing I could do with Nurse Birch watching me like a hawk.
Dog's eating the hell out of this bone.
Your room by those stairs, Wake.
Oh shit. It's the 360 version of Night Springs. Look at that 360 with that hard drive on the top. Wow. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. I got 360 ROMs on this computer, but like, man, I haven't seen that console in so long. Oh boy. me see. Let me check one more time just to make sure I can't cut this TV on. No, I can't.
The white glare of the blank page in front of me hurt my eyes. My hands began to shake uncontrollably.
Everybody calm down. Put that down. Bert, I need help.
Hey, Wake, you stay here. I'm gonna go see what's up. You just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool, okay?
I didn't know what the chaos was all about, but it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Where the hell did he get a damn hammer? Here's a friendly poke from Mjolnir.
Hartman had mentioned that the power had been acting up. Maybe that was the reason for the generator and the work light on the balcony. The generator hadn't been activated, and there was no key.
Well, things are unraveling fast, aren't they?
Hartman kept talking, giving Barry the grand tour, clearly proud of the place. He went on and on about his hunting trophies, and Barry was impressed. But he was here on business. He raised his voice, cut through the monologue. Hey, Hartman, where's Al? Hartman stopped in mid-sentence, annoyed at the interruption. He nodded at the hulking orderly standing nearby. The man smiled and clapped a practiced hand on Barry's shoulder.
Alright, let's continue.
It's my store. I'm taking it.
Sinclair looked bad. That wasn't a love tap. The crazy old fart hit her hard. If she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming. I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping them.
Come out and face the music, Birch. It's time to pay the piper.
Alright, so I got a key. I don't think this key is going to do anything with this generator. Anytime I see something like this, I'm like, oh, I should give it a shot just in case. Yeah, no, it's not. Damn. It's Ollie down the stairs.
Don't think we haven't seen punks like you before. Mortal name.
The photo on the wall caught my attention. In it, the clinic staff was standing outside the lodge. I knew the man next to Hartman. He was the kidnapper. Hartman had been playing me all along.
Let me out of here! Hartman, do you hear me? I'm gonna sue your crazy quack ass to shred!
The markings on the tape said they were recordings Hartman had made at the sessions with his patients. I saw Alice's name on one of them. For a moment, I couldn't breathe right.
The parties, he's so angry all the time. He's getting violent.
Do you mean with you?
No, not with me. No, never. Sometimes I almost wish Alan would take a swing at me, because at least that lead to a conversation he couldn't just march out of. But no. Alan doesn't really sleep. And the work, well, he's not writing at all. He sits there for hours and just gets more and more frustrated. And I can't talk to him.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake. What would you say to him if he'd listen?
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger who resembles you. Looking out from behind your eyes, and I don't like that guy much. And now it's all gonna go to hell.
But you don't ever say this.
No. I've tried, but he's not listening. He's too deep in his own problems, always going on about something else. I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose him, and we're not even talking anymore. He doesn't let me in anymore. He just keeps me in the dark. I'm so alone here, even when he's home. Please help me, Doctor, because I'm at my wit's end.
Well, if you can just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
Yeah, but Doctor, you need to be careful with him. He's not just going to listen to you and cooperate. He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
Well, I'll be sure to bear that in mind.
Hearing her voice, what she was saying made me happy and sick and guilty all at once. Worst of all, I recognized the words. The phone call from her. It had been a cut-up of this. Just a recording.
This is Barry, right?
Barry?
Ow! About time!
Barry! Man, am I glad to see you.
We need to get to Hartman's office.
It's right next door.
You okay?
Yeah. I mean, no! The cops found me at Rose's trailer, but they didn't hassle me to.
These were all the pages I had on me. And more.
Alan, please. You're sliding back into the...
Tell me one more lie and I'll shoot you in the face.
Ah, well, it was worth a shot. Really, Wake, come on. Let's work together on this. You have no idea...
Hartman, shut up! Barry, get out of here. I'll catch up with you. Get a car.
Oh, Al, let's just...
Go!
Wake, listen to me. This is a mistake. Don't you see? Together we can create something absolutely wonderful. With your ability and mine.
We got a spookies. Spookies.
The dark presence would be on me in a moment. I had to find a way out.
The darkness. Look up the darkness. I need to download the darkness and shadows of the dam. Spookies are coming.
I needed light to get the possessed bookshelves out of my way.
Sometimes games do things where you're like, what? Oh, I get it. He's a writer. So there should be things. This is par for the course here. But hearing him talk about possessed bookshelves, like that being a line in the game, is really funny to me.
Hartman knew he was no creator. He had no ambitions on that front. And he certainly didn't want to end up like every artist he had worked with here, damaged in ways that were hard to describe, or worse. It was enough for Hartman to maintain creative control and provide direction, to be a producer. That was what most of these people were in need of anyway. Of course, suitable subjects were few and far in between.
What does that mean? Kiwi, come here, buddy. Oh my goodness, hang on. My dog just did something weird. Hold on. What the hell, boy? Something strange just happened. I gave my dog a bone. It's gone. Whatever. It was one of those bully sticks. You know, the things that usually take like dogs like days to chew through. And I heard him chewing on it a second ago, and it was still here. I don't know. I just gave it to him like maybe an hour and a half ago. I don't even know what to do with him now.
The car, but the gate's locked. You're gonna have to go through the hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Take this, Al. Oh God! Look at the house, Al. Look out!
Doom House. Look it up. That video is probably still on the internet somewhere. So, from the guys from Something Awful, like in the long ago times, video called The Doom House making fun of B movies. It was like the first time I had ever seen anything like that. Like I knew bad movies exist, but I didn't know there's an entire like subgenre of movies that are just identified as B movies. You know, they've got various budget cuts and questionable acting. Take that. Don't trust them. Who the fuck do I trust?
I stared at the Viking paraphernalia that littered the area, surrounding an unlikely centerpiece. A full-size stage complete with an impressive sound system with all the trimmings, including a dragon. It took a special kind of crazy to build something like this in a remote field. When the sky split open with a deafening boom and the music started blasting, it felt strangely appropriate.
I gotta figure out a plan, man. Taking donations. No, I'm not actually taking donations. I gotta figure out a plan to get that there Zelda. I should have put a pre-order in for it, but I'm not like the thing is like I enjoyed what I played at Breath of the Wild, but I never finished it. So when the new one was coming out, or because it comes out this weekend, I've been following it as a person who has a Switch. enjoys video games because it's important. But yeah, I don't necessarily have the same attachment other people have towards it. Or whatever. Did that.
Mott knew that Wake was smarter than him. Wake had more money, a beautiful wife, everything. And Hartman said Wake was important. That made him better than Mott. But Mott was calling the shots now. He'd expected Wake to whimper and grovel, but instead, he seemed willing to fight. Mott knew he'd gotten under Wake's skin. If only Mott actually had his wife. The thought made him shiver.
Playing this in the back of my mind and thinking, like, you know what I should play more of is that mobile port of Dead by Daylight. I played it like maybe 3 times. I don't even know if I got to do an actual match. You know, I finished the 2 tutorial things. I think I queued up for a match during like a lunch break. I was like, man, I can't believe this thing exists. I didn't play it because at the time I was like, the thing about that game, the mobile port of Dead by Daylight, is like, you can also stream Dead by Daylight to your phone. I also have it on Switch. I got it on PC, so it's hard to know which one to go with. Like, do you play the mobile one and you can play that anywhere and hopefully it links up to your Google account, or you stick with the big boy platform, but it's Dead by Daylight?
He had been separated from Al, and there was no easy way to climb back up.
So, who knows?
He told himself he'd be okay. Okay in the gloomy forest at night. He would just have to wait for a while for Al to find his way down. Barry turned when he heard the heavy footsteps and saw the movement. The man-shaped shadow lunged at him from the bushes, an axe held high. Barry screamed and threw up his hand. The world exploded.
Skip on me. What is that sequel DLC thing called? Was it called like American Nightmare or something? It's one where I swear, like on the cover, I think he's got like a chainsaw. I always forget that thing exists.
Hartman watched as Wake's features slackened. The man was bullheaded, no doubt. Even lying on the bed, he'd almost broken Hartman's nose the second time. But with a little time, he could break Wake down, give him proper direction. Wake was easily the most promising subject he'd had. Well, since Tom, really. Sleep well, Alan, Hartman whispered with a smile. Let me take care of you. He sniffed hard to clear his throbbing nose, swallowed blood, and barely tasted it.
It's Barry. Barry.
Al! You're alive!
Let's get out of here. Can you open this gate?
Maybe.
Barry!
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so, I'll find it! Don't worry about it!
Hurry up, Barry!
The delay with pulling out your flare kind of sucks. Like, I mean, it's whatever. It's not really a huge problem. It's like there is combat in this game, obviously, but it's not like. That's what it was. guys on this.
Hurry up, Barry! I'm on it!
What happened? Man. Four?
Hurry up, Barry! I'm on it! I'm on it!
Al, please tell me we're headed for the nearest "You're now leaving Bright Falls. Come back soon" sign.
We're going to the Anderson farm.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. You know what? You owe me big time for this. When this is through, if we make it, I don't care what anybody says, I'm done with darkness. You're gonna buy me a tanning bed as a gift, and I'm gonna live in it.
So cool. Good boy.
I'm crazy, but that's fine, Barry.
Oh, you got that right, Al. You're barking mad. You are by far the craziest.
But maybe that's inevitable when you deal with crazy stuff like this. It helps. This is happening, Barry. Alice, they never had Alice. She's trapped in the darkness at the bottom of the lake, but she's not dead.
Al, how can you know that?
I know, Barry. I can...
Al,
No, listen. I can bring her back. I can find her. There's something special about this place. The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. But there's a catch. The dark presence, whatever that thing is, twists it to its own ends. That's why all of this is happening. It's using my manuscript to take over everything.
Al, I believe you.
It happened to Thomas Zane before it happened to the Andersons.
I believe you. Crazy or not, you're not delusional. Weird shit's going down. That's a fact. I'm on board, man. I'm with you.
The Andersons knew about it, but they were too far gone to tell me with all the drugs they were on. But they wrote it down. There's a message somewhere at their farm, Barry. We just need to find it.
Look out! God damn it, Al, talk to me!
This man stays getting in accidents.
I had lost my gun in the crash. Barry was nowhere to be seen.
Barry! Barry!
Oh, man, you're okay! Jeez, it's good to hear your voice! I was trying to get out of the car, but the ground gave way! Man, what a drop! Don't worry, your cutout is fine.
Forget that! Are you okay?
I hit some bushes, didn't get a scratch. The There's no way you can climb down, though. It's like a sheer wall. Al! There's something moving down here!
Barry, it's a taken! Use a flare, Barry!
Yeah!
Barry, are you alright?
I'm good, Al! I'm great! Guess you never messed with anyone from New York City before, huh? You're gonna have to find your way around to the farm, Al! I'll be waiting!
Barry, just wait for me, okay?
Al! I'm not staying here! It's suicide! I'm going to the farm! I'm gonna go ahead and secure the area! You can catch up! Don't worry about it! I'm on the case!
Now he's Rambo. This would turn into a disaster if I didn't catch up with Barry. When he stopped the car at the Anderson farm, Walter felt relieved. Oblivion was close at hand. The brothers wouldn't miss a jar of moonshine or two in the booby hatch. But then he saw the man on the porch, and he knew who it was. Driving for his life and knowing it was useless, he didn't realize he was crying until he couldn't see the road for the tears.
Amazing.
Shadows crawled over the gate. I needed a light to destroy them to get through. Agent Nightingale stared at the passed-out rider. The man was sleeping off one hell of a night. Nightingale felt a stab of envy at Wake's oblivion, but he had a job to do. He put the gun to Wake's head and almost became a murderer. His hand shook and his throat felt tight and dry. Biting his teeth, he tried again to pull the trigger. He lost the nerve. Wake stirred. Nightingale would have to settle for an arrest.
What's this? This one?
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice. could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
Dashboard. Just go now. The problem is that they throw axes. Give you bad. Probably good. Two. I can't move.
I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice.
Okay, so we're just gonna go. I was running, pressing B, hoping to get the batteries, but because I got the prompt to start the generator first, you get like sucked into it. It's a very video game problem. Don't do It's popping up. So I really booted it.
A car was driving away from the farm, headed in the same general direction as I was. For all I knew, it was Barry, caught in the consequences of leaping before looking. The car was heading for the cabin up ahead. It wasn't far. If it was Barry, I would see the damage soon.
I'm trying to deliver each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
I had seen glimpses of the light before. I had seen it in my dream. It was... The dark presence followed the choreography laid out to it in the manuscript, growing stronger and stronger, moving like a storm from one scene of destruction to the next. But it was still bound to follow the story and chained to the dark place it came from. When the story reached the end it longed for, it would finally be free. Strange spaceman or a diver in a bulky suit. He was the one who'd been placing the pages on my path.
have so many bear traps everywhere. There's so many.
The storm raged on as the Anderson brothers walked unsteadily away from the clinic with the other patients in tow, knowing that this time they wouldn't return. The darkness around them seethed with horrors, but Tor and Odin were unafraid. Their eyes glinted with guile. They knew every secret path, and there was blood on their hands. They had fought these shades before. Someone had left a gun behind. Now I had a fighting chance of reaching the farm.
I mean, I guess. It's really weird how this point is. Sorry. Totally worth it for this thirst. As I'm playing this, let's continue random Switch talk. I keep looking out for, like, I'm thinking, like, man, maybe one day, and I don't know, because I like this series, I like the concept of the series, but I never really enjoyed playing the games, besides a certain one. I keep hoping the Fallout games will appear on Switch. Like, specifically, like, 3 or 4. I know they put out, what's it, the Outer Worlds? But that's not... Is that Bethesda? I think it's Bethesda, I'm not sure. It's also not Fallout. Like, the thing I like about Fallout, conceptually, is that it takes place, like, here, like, you know. It's gonna get the light. You know what? I feel dumb. I didn't realize I had flares. I completely forgot I picked those up. That would have made that entire sequence significantly easier. But it's all good.
Hello? Anybody here? Barry!
No! Danny, you're not! Please! What are you? No! Don't! I'm sorry!
It's not Danny. I should trust no one in the dark. Those are probably good sounds, right?
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I went to the farm again for the moonshine, you know? It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin. My buddy,
Danny. I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie. The best friend's suddenly the bad guy. Who wrote this crap anyway?
There's a way to actually zoom in on stuff, you know? Dude is drinking like an entire liter of moonshine.
I've run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story, and it's going to kill her, and me, and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what it's wanted all along. It will be free, unstoppable. It used Alice to get to me, dangled her in front of me to keep me going. It was never going to release her. I'm going to change this. I'll escape. I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who'll help me. I'll make it happen.
Alright, I'm back. Alright, what are we doing? Man, I'm telling you, if this game was in first person, this would be a perfect VR game.
Farm animals are intense.
Let me guess. Danny, huh? The front door was locked.
There's a page.
The farm was still a good distance away. I'd need a car to get there fast. For a moment, Hartman considered strangling the idiot. Mott was mean-spirited, but easily manipulated. An emotional infant who lived for his approval. Wake, by contrast, was a far more difficult subject. Mott had given him too much leash. In 2 days, who knew what could happen? Hartman would have to find a way to rein him in, and quickly.
Supplies down here. I haven't seen a flashbang in so long. We're good, let's go. We are good.
If Barry wasn't up here, he was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment, I felt bad for doubting him. After all, I'd made it this far myself. But Barry was Barry.
Again, I did see that thermos there. I don't care. That's game gives you like extra stuff occasionally, but the extra stuff is so questionable most of the time. Like, well, yes, you're gonna use a flare, but you'll get 2, so it's like you really just get 1. Kidding me? I can't ram this gate. Didn't mean to do that. Wrong one. Go. Guess this is where we're going. This is where we're really going. I can't resist it. I'm already heading this direction. This is where Jason shows up, right? Oh. Lucky guess. This is where some crazy dude pops up behind me with like a axe. Anything? Nothing. Stay away from my door. Look at that.
I'd known the brothers used to be some kind of rock stars, but it hadn't really sunk in until I saw the stage.
Ow! Run! Incoming! There's too many of them!
God damn!
So glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Shut up and shoot! Ow! We have to fight them all! I can set off more of the fireworks from here and help you out! Hey, Al! Did you notice there's a lot of ammo and stuff around? This place is stocked! Al, hold on! I'll try to get the stage lights on! Yes! Here we go! Barry Wheeler to the rescue! No! Damn it! Goddamn turn of the century wiring! Hang on out! I'll get them working again, I promise! This is pretty much how I always wanted to go!
Lame.
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Shut up and shoot! Ow! We have to fight them all! I can set off more of the fireworks from here and help you out! Hey, Al! Did you notice there's a lot of ammo and stuff around? This place is stocked! Al, hold on! I'll try to get the stage lights on! Barry Wheeler to the rescue! No! Damn it! Goddamn turn of the century wiring!
Hawaii Falls, rock and roll capital of America.
Hey, Al! This way to the farm!
Games do this thing where they have like really intense
See,
sequences like this.
bestseller, no reason to worry. Your cutout's
And,
good as new, right where I left
You
it.
finish it,
I'll come
you
back
just
for it
kind of
once
do
we
a
have the
little
place
dosing
secured.
going to the next day.
Yeah, that's been my biggest worry all this time.
We need to get this thing moved out of the way.
This is as far as I got before they ambushed me.
In some games, that would be the solution. Down here.
Hey, I think Alan Wake here has something to say. What's that, Al?
I'm Alan Wake. I'm always right about everything. And if I don't get my way, I'll sulk all day long. I'm always intense and moody. It makes me very attractive and mysterious. Right now, I'm just standing here because I need my best friend Barry to carry me. But that's okay. I can just take him for granted.
I think I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You want me to do my imitation of Barry Wheeler? No? Thought so.
There's a page there. I might as well grab it since it's right there.
Deputy Mulligan tuned Thornton's chatter out. He didn't think riders were particularly useful people, and a huge manhunt for one struck him as idiotic. Certainly not worth the missed opportunity for coffee and pie. It wasn't even clear what the man had done, except run from them at the trailer park. Mulligan knew he wasn't alone. The sheriff's patience with the Fed was running out.
He's just carrying this thing is really weird.
Wow! You look at that thing, Al? They really went all out with this Viking crap, didn't they? Look at all this stuff. They must have done okay for themselves. So how come I never heard of these guys before?
And this from the guy who learned about Ozzy Osbourne through reality TV?
Hey, remember when I got you that gig? Your first real writing job. What got you started? Was this one of your episodes?
Tonight's episode, The Dream of Dreams.
That's by someone else.
We join Mr. Jones as he explores the endless dreamscape, only to be brought to a sudden stop by a decidedly mundane situation. A long line of people.
Hey, Jones, right? Listen, we're gonna have to wait until his highness over there is good and ready. Oh, wow. Who's that? You don't know him? What are you, new? He's the guy dreaming us. Well, not just us. He dreams everything. All of this.
But wait, no. I'm the one who's dreaming. I'm asleep. Isn't this my dream?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Get real, pal. You're just another dream. I'm a dream. You're a dream. The weirdo in the diving suit is a dream. And the girl made of smiles and sunshine is definitely a dream.
But I'm pretty sure I'm dreaming this.
Well, maybe you're a really confused dream. What am I, a shrink? All I know is I'm going with the smart guys, and they say that's the guy doing the dreaming. Right there.
I don't know what that means.
It means we keep him happy. No sudden falls. We make sure he has his clothes on when he goes out in public. No chases where the monster is nipping at his heels and he runs like crazy, but his legs don't seem to get him anywhere. None of that. Because if he wakes up in a cold sweat... Yeah, precisely. So we wait till he wants to move on. Keep things nice and calm. Hey, something's happening here. Yeah? What's that? What? Can't you hear that? Oh, God help us, it's an alarm clock. Oh, it's you, isn't it? Please, man, I got a wife and kids. Please don't wait.
This flashlight's so bright.
It's 1976. Madness reigns at the Anderson farm. Contrary to all logic, the headiest ingredient of their moonshine is unfiltered water from Cauldron Lake. The Andersons feel like gods. Odin can't stop laughing. He contemplates cutting his eye out. Tor runs across the field, naked, shrieking, hammer in his hand, trying to catch lightning. Their songs have power. Something ancient is stirring in the depths, coming back.
There's the dumb meme that just came up. It was the Street Fighter meme.
The Viking boat looked imposing, almost like a battering ram.
Made it to Tampa. Take it. Oh, man, this is. How does this work?
I think we can make it through here, Al!
Just a second.
lasers had quite a production going on. Ooh, you know what, Al? If we make it through this alive, I'm gonna start representing them. Yep, sell this stuff online, maybe get a reality show going, release a new single.
Good luck with that, pal.
Hey, you find us a way out of here, okay? I'm gonna take a closer look at this stuff. Be careful, Al!
I'm good. Keep your eyes open, okay?
As you regular listeners know, I tend to work through the night, but I'm not the only one. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton are taking a couple of moments off their busy schedule to join me here in the studio. Boys, how busy are you now? Deerfest is almost here, isn't it? I bet that keeps you in business.
Pretty busy, yeah. Actually, Pat, we've been real busy with other stuff, which concerns an ongoing investigation. We can't talk about that, Thornton. I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just saying we got, other irons to fry.
And how would you compare your workload to last year's? Things have seemed relatively peaceful to me, but people do tend to get a little wild this time of year.
Oh, it's wild, Pat. It's pretty wild. There's been all sorts of trouble this year. Vandalism, fighting, public disturbances. A lot of people gone missing, too. Yeah, it's pretty much the usual stuff, Pat. Just, a lot more of it.
Now, is it just me, or does Deerfest get wilder every year? People seem to be more drunk, at least, or they start earlier and younger.
Oh, it's definitely not just you, Pat, but... Definitely, Pat. Hey, I'm talking here, Thornton. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Not just me.
Oh, yeah, it's wilder, Pat, but actually most of the trouble seems to be coming from grown men. People who ought to know better, Kids are doing fine this year.
Well, that's nice to hear at least. Boys, I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll let you get back to your patrol.
Sure thing, Pat. Yeah, sure thing, Pat.
The elevator was dead. I'd have to get some power to it first. I could see the building that had to be the Andersons' home on the other side of the field. It wasn't far now. I wasn't worried about trusting the ramblings of two burned-out geriatric wrecks. They had the goods.
I have so many supplies. This is open. This is pushed all the way up against the other thing.
You've got to be kidding me.
Pretty good. I didn't do it with no hits.
Can't believe it's already 7. It's already getting nervous now.
Al? Is that you out there, buddy?
Yeah, it's me. Hang on.
Hey, let's go, man. I think we're gonna have to work together to open this gate, Al. Looks pretty heavy. Hey, I think that's the farm on the other side of the field. We're almost there. This farm is a crazy place for crazy people.
We should feel right at home then.
Come on, one more gate. Let's do this thing. The lights are out. I guess we better check the fuse box.
The power downstairs was out, but I was sure I could fix that at the fuse box.
How am I going? We go upstairs. I don't know where the damn stairs are. Is this thing? What is this? Oh, rockets.
You know, this place looks kind of lived in. I thought the Andersons were in the booby hatch.
Yeah, I don't think they keep too close an eye on them at the clinic. They seem to slip away a lot so they can get wasted.
Again, Alice's screams rang in the stillness of the night.
Shit.
Again, Alice's screams rang in the stillness of the night. I saw myself run toward the cabin, flashlight in my hand. I followed my past self. I was an out-of-body observer, a time traveler in a crazy drunken dream. This was the beginning. The night Alice had disappeared. The mystery of what had happened during the missing week was about to reveal itself.
Kidding! Those guys sound awesome. Come on, Al, let's get the lights on, huh?
source. We need to find where it's coming from. That's the message the Andersons talk about. That's the whole reason we're here.
Lady of the Light? Oh, that's gotta be what's-her-face, the crazy lamp lady from the town.
Cynthia Weaver.
Right. Must be.
Okay. We need to find Cynthia Weaver. We'll stay here for the night and head back to town as soon as it gets light.
Hey, Al. Lots of hours before dawn. Might as well get some rest. And by rest, I mean drunk.
Come on, Barry. This is... Yeah, what the hell?
No, seriously, because I know we don't get along, but we're gonna find her, right? Even though you're a crazy bastard, I'm gonna stick by you, no matter what, ever, Al. Sure, like a brother.
I'm a writer, goddammit.
Correct.
If I just wanted to, I could write 10 books a year. And they'd be the best books that year.
No, you couldn't.
That's right, I couldn't. But I could, because I'm a writer.
What? What do they put in this stuff? I feel like my brain is coming out of my nose. I'm gonna get the recipe off those coots and be a booze millionaire.
I just miss her, Barry. I just want her here with me.
I know, Al. I know. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it okay.
I'm coming! It's all right! I'm coming! It was a crazy drunken dream, and yet it was more than that. It was the truth, a suppressed memory unearthed by the Andersons' moonshine. I was there, an out-of-body observer. This was the night Alice and I had arrived at Bright Falls, the night Alice had disappeared. I had a chance to find out what had happened. I remembered being surprised to see the cabin dark. Alice would have never turned the lights off.
Alice? Alice!
I remembered thinking I caught a glimpse of her form underwater, sinking into the darkness. Diving after her was the last vague memory I had of that night. After that, the next thing I could remember was waking up behind the wheel of the crashed car and finding the first pages of the manuscript. I couldn't find her in all that blackness. I must have thought she drowned.
Alice!
Jagger had Alice, and so she had me.
Alice!
I'd been easy prey.
Look at the cabin. Is there someone in the window?
Alice?
Maybe she didn't drown after all. Maybe she's inside.
Alice!
Yes.
dark presence had touched me. She had dug her nails into my brain and used me, made me her puppet.
She must be here somewhere. Maybe upstairs in the study.
Alice!
Yes, that's where she is. You can apologize.
Alice!
You'll laugh at the whole thing together and put it
Alice?
behind you. She's not here. You were foolish to think so. No, she's dead. She drowned.
No, no, no!
It's your fault your wife is dead. You are guilty. All she wanted was to help you right. You killed her.
Ah!
Oh, hush. There's still hope. Cauldron Lake is a special place. Here, you have the power to change things. She wanted you to write. I will tell you what to do. You can write her back. The story will come true, and all will be well again.
She had Alice, and the manuscript was the ransom for her. Yes. All right. I'll fix it. I'll bring her back. No. I wrote it. I remembered it all now. In the dark, I'd written for days, a week, almost a complete manuscript of a novel entitled Departure. Jagger had been my editor, whispering in my ear, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. I thought I was saving Alice. Even with the cobweb she put in my head, some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story, to bring a light into the cabin to release me before I could finish, to interrupt the horror story before the ending, where darkness consumed everything and everyone. Zane was weak and far away, but I had written him into the story, and his light had been enough to set me free.
It isn't here now. I'm here because it was written. I brought the light to set you free. You must hurry. It will know I'm here. It will be back soon. It stole the skin of my Barbara a long time ago. She looks so old.
I had woken up, confused and groggy, my mind consumed by darkness and fear. All I could do was to escape. The week spent in the cabin had taken its toll. I was barely conscious and fading fast. It had to have cost Zane terribly, thrown him even deeper into whatever dark place he now haunted. But he had managed to weaken the dark presence, kept me safe that night. I wrote it. It's my fault.
That's right, James Joyce. It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
There's an old town road with mystery of Tom the poet and his muse, and a magic lake which gave a light to the words the poet used. Now the muse she was his happiness, and he rhymed about her grace, and told the stories of treasures deep beneath the blackened waves. Till in the stillness of wonder, and still in its misty crown, the muse she went down to the lake, and in the waves she
Previously on Alan Wake. Under the influence of the Dark Presence, I wrote a horror story that is coming true. Jagger had been my editor, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. Some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story.
Together we can create something absolutely wonderful.
The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. My mom gave me this old light switch.
The clicker.
Alice is being kept in a dark prison. I need to find Cynthia Weaver to fix this.
It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
Well, we're expecting a record crowd from the neighboring counties. Naturally, we hope to break the record set by last year's Moose Fest in our neighboring town, Watery. Ladies and gentlemen, some people have asked me, what's the big deal about Deer Fest? And I think that this sums it up. It's about friendship and community. We've got a great party coming up, but let's try to hold it in until tomorrow and get through the night in one piece, all right?
I have it. Someone will come for it when the time is right. Thomas said so. He wrote it. The key is insurance. It's my job to keep it safe. Safe in the light. Always in the light.
All the manuscript pages were gone. The FBI agent had taken them.
We're going to do the same thing we've been doing, so I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. Might be a long break, I don't know. I'm gonna come back with episode 5. So, I will be back. Peace.